Hello, I'm Gus, and I'll be talking about a tool I made to help people who have websites to publish their content to their PDS and make that accessible on the Atmosphere. So, bridging the gap. So, to start off, I just want to say I love RSS. It is great. Yep. Makes it easy to remember blogs I like. I get notifications. There's no reliance on algorithms to serve me like the newest post for a blog that I like. There's like no chance. I just have it all there. It's very nice. And I like RSS. It's great, even though it's XML, and even though it's approved from later with Atom, which still isn't used everywhere. People still use the original RSS format a lot, and it isn't easily shareable or very social. Like the best I can do is put a list of links on my website to RSS feeds, which is not ideal. So, however, it's like existed for a really long time, so it's super easy to integrate with like a lot of web frameworks. So for example, Astro has an official integration, and I can just write a few lines of code, drop this route in my project, and have RSS. And it's super simple. You don't need to do extra tinkering. It's all there. And they have a really great guide on their documentation site for it. So that brings me to a couple months ago, and I had not touched development on proto stuff at all. Like, I had no idea what a PDS was, and I started seeing some cool embeds in Blue Sky. Wow, pretty. These have all like a bunch of rich metadata, like the date, like a main cover image, little icon for the publication, and it was looking interesting. I started looking more into atproto and Standard.site and how all that worked. And I got a mental model in my head of how I wanted to, of what project I wanted to work on and how to set it up. So the main goal is finding different ways to distribute the blog posts that I'm writing to readers. And I already have RSS set up, and that people can put the RSS feed in their RSS reader and then get new posts and read them. And the integration for RSS with the Astro, the web framework I use, already exists. So it's super simple to go from my website to my RSS feed. I also want to do a similar thing with Standard.site records to my PDS, which can be seen on applications like Standard Reader and like Packets Reader, and have that integrated with like recommendations and subscriptions and all of that. And I wanted to see if it was easy to publish my website's content as Standard.site records to my PDS. So I started looking. And the first project I found was Sequoia, which is great. It works independent of static site generators, and it's very feature complete. Like, it's everything set up. It has like a Blue Sky Commons component. It syncs everything nicely, and it supports images, things like that. However, it has a few downsides because it supports any static site generator, because it's super generic. And because like first it stores state in a JSON file in the root folder of your project, which is fine, but it's like an extra thing to deal with, and it's there to manage like record keys and things like that. And also you have to add an extra step to your build process to inject the link tags for like verification for like Blue Sky to have two-directional verification to make sure the records are for the right website, and also only supports one publication per site. So some of these downsides are because it supports any static site generator. So I started looking for projects that were specifically for Astro. And I found one project, and it looked pretty interesting, but its focus was specific to creating like the record JSON structures of your content, and it left syncing the content to your PDS to the user, and it didn't support OAuth. So I made my own and went down the rabbit hole. So I made a project called Astro Skew, and I tried to focus a lot on making it super easy for new people who maybe haven't touched atproto development at all, who want to set up their site with Standard.site records and have all the integrations that come with that. And so I focused on trying to have the main process be super simple. First, just adding the integration, the Astro CLI, then initializing configuration, then publishing the records, and then ideally, that should be it. So, time for a live demo where nothing goes wrong. So, first, this is the source code for my website. This is my Astro configuration file. I have my website URL here, some integrations, which is all nice. And also, Astro has the concept of content collections, which is built into the framework, where I have my blog, and it imports all the markdown files, also has a schema for the front matter for each blog post. So like, for example, This blog post has a title, a description, publication date, categories, things like that. That is all specified in this collection. And so let's set up astroscute and Standard.site records. So first, let's see if I can put my microphone here. First, I can add the integration, the Astro CLI. It starts going, installs the package. Yep. Let's go in. And it automatically adds my integration to the integration list. So if I go back here, it's added it here, which is great. And now let's initialize the configuration. And it will ask me a few basic questions to set up my configuration. So it's building my site first. So what is my handle? gu5.org. And I want to publish my blog content collection that we just saw. This is blog. And where does it appear on my site? This is the path to where the rendered blog posts show up on my site. So it's gu5.org/blog/whatever. It gives me an autocomplete for that. Its homepage should be gu5.org. And it is now saved. If I go back to my configuration file, it made a configuration file for me. It has my decentralized identifier, and then some information about the publication, including its record key, as well as some metadata for the publication. And now, go back here and publish the records. And first, what it does is it pulls the existing records from a PDS, that compares that to what exists locally, then creates a list of operations to make sure it's synced properly. So we do OAuth. Whoop. And again. See, nothing went wrong. Let me make sure. There we go. Yeah. Terminal formatting. And so it's authenticated me. Great. Now it says it's creating the blog publication as well as 3 records for my blog posts. Continue. Yep. Now it's done. Now let's take a look at it at psos.dev. Let's see the records. Oop. Publication. Here it's my blog. Great. And then I go to my documents. They're all here. Great. And now if I go to Blue Sky, let's put in a link to my blog. Oh, first, I've got to make sure the site is built so the site verification works properly. So I'm just going to build the site and then sync it to my server.
What do you mean by site verification?
I mean the HTML content. So, because how it works is the HTML has to have a reference to the record on your PDS to verify that the record is for the HTML and the HTML is for the record.
So it won't be complete until it does that?
Yes. The records are published, but to verify that the records are valid, we need to publish our site and have a new version of HTML on. So now, embed. There we go. Now we have our embed. That's great. And all it took was 3 commands, which is pretty nice. It didn't require any extra manual setup. And if we go back here, we'll see that it also automatically added a line to our schema definition for a collection to make sure it has the required properties like the title and the publication date, which are both required for all standard site records. And so this took a little bit of tinkering to get right without any extra setup in files. The main thing being the record keys, which the standard site schema requires them to be timestamp identifiers, which which are 64-bit integers. It's the time and then a few bits of randomization. And to get this to work nicely, it had to be completely deterministic. I needed to be able to say, from this post's information, this is the timestamp ID. And so to do that, I could use the publish.date date for the blog post for the time bit, and then use like the slug. Like for example, when I post, the slug is integration-testing-nix, and I can hash that and use that for the randomization bits in the integer. And someone else figured this out, Mauro, while working on Master.js. Thank you. There's an open issue for changing the specification, but that has not been done yet. So thank you very much. And that is it. If you want to see the slides, slides.cfi.org. If you want to try out the project and get to work, if you have a site that's built with Astro, please do. Tell me what works and what doesn't. Because I've only tested it with my site, and there's only so much I can do. I'm working on testing. If you want to contact me, I'm on Blue Sky and also on Matrix. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. I guess we want to do questions.
I have one.
Yeah.
So I actually have a tool that processes the stream of published, I guess it's documents that get published.
Mm-hmm.
But if it can't validate by making the request, then it just dumps it. So is it possible with what you built to publish your disk to the web and then publish the records?
Yeah. So at least in this case, I ran. Where is it? Scroll up. pm scoop publish, and that published the records.
Yeah.
So what I could have done is build the site and then synced it to my server, and then publish the records.
How do you know does it publish the records every time that you run publish for all of them? Or does it have some way of knowing if they're already been published?
Yeah. So the question here was, how does it know what's been published and what isn't? And the publish process pulls all your publications, documents from a PDS, and then checks and does some diffs with like.
States in the PDS.
Yeah. So the PDS has some state, but like the source of truth is your website. And it just sees what it needs to create or update or delete from there. Yeah. Yep.
I'm just going to grab the mic so that way we can get audio of the question too. Is
Okay.
that cool? Okay. I'll be right back. We have a question.
I have heard people complaining about having to set up OAuth for local CLI tools and that kind of thing. I was wondering what your experience doing that was and how it went getting that working.
Yeah. So it took a little bit to set up, but I'm using ATQ, the ATQ set of libraries, which was made by Mary, instead of the official ones. And she put up an example for how to do it, and it was pretty simple. Like I just set up an HTTP server and have a callback. So it was actually pretty easy to set up, and I think most of that work was done by her, not me. So yeah.
Anyone else have a question? All right, let's give Gus another round of applause.